Okay, before we go inside, one thing I should have said, there is a radar over there by the dog. The radar is not included, and I can't sell that, it's not mine. So the radar won't be going with the boat. That's the one thing that you might see, which isn't included. So the one thing is the radar. So there was radar electronics that went in here. So there's just a hole there where you put a GPS in. There is the anemometer wind. We go there, and also down here is the autopilot. Now, I've not used any of those, but I've got no reason to believe that they don't work. Just look back at the cockpit. Oh, there is a large lazarette down the back here. It's hard to see in there, but it's good that I haven't found any corrosion in there. The gas cylinders in there, there's quite a big storage down in there. But that's the lazarette area in there as well. So coming inside, it's going to get dark when we go inside. Sorry, there is normally steps here. I've just got them taken just the side at the moment. Okay, so chart table, VHF, and there's like a quarter berth down here, which I got all the timber for the lining of all this, but it's just taken out at the moment. This is a hot water, but it's a mains 240 volts hot water system. You can see all this if you come on board. There isn't any corrosion that I can see through this area here, so this is all in really good nick. But there's boards through here, so you've got storage underneath, and this is like a 1.5 berth area across the back here. These are your batteries. Now the wiring on here was done reasonably recently, so it's all got new wiring in here. There is a second battery which I've got. I don't know what state it's in, but I will give you that as well. All the switches and all the fuse boxes are relatively new, and all the switches down here, so that's all relatively new. The galley area, I honestly I've never used that cooker, so I don't know if it works. There used to be a compression freezer through here, which I've taken out because it wasn't working. So there's a big storage space back through there to do whatever you want. That thing on the wall there is an anti-electrolysis device of some kind, which is supposed to minimize the effects of electrolysis on the boat. Apparently these are pretty expensive. I'll try and focus it on that. Electrolysis blocker it's called if you Google that, but as far as I know that's all working. There's more storage down here at the back, down to the steering gear, which is just on at the top of the image there. No reason to think there's any issues there either. And again, if you come on board the boat at some point, you can have a good scrabble around here at the moment. It's all open, and I don't see any signs of corrosion down there. And there's been no leaking in this area since I have fixed everything. You can see on the boards down there that there has been leaking in the past, but there isn't now. That's all been fixed and rectified for the over the last winter's been fine. This is where the engine goes. Again, you'll have to come and have a look at this yourself, but there is no signs of corrosion there. I've redone the engine mounts, so this is hard to see. The engine mounts have been redone, ready for the engine to go back in. But I mean a typical kind of old boat engine room area. And yeah, again, easy to look at and check out yourself when you want to. I don't think there's any corrosion in there. Fuel tanks underneath my feet. Haven't had any major look in there, but I haven't got any reason to think it's a major issue. This is kind of the galley area. All the roof's been redone. I did that last year, and it's not leaked since. Obviously, there's wires coming down there for the mast. The mast is keel mounted, so sits in that down on the bottom down there. Moving forward, you've got the bathroom on the left and the toilet. Now there was a shower pan in there, and there is a shower up there, and you can see the roof's a bit fucked up from the leaks, but it's now been fixed, but the roof lining will need to be replaced. There used to be a shower pan down there, but I took that out to check that there wasn't any corrosion in that area. So that I was not going to have a shower inside. I was just going to have a shower outside to stop the moisture inside. But again, you can look down in here and check for corrosion, and I don't think there is any significant corrosion in that area. Forward, this is the main bunk up the front. Again, there's been some leaking up here, so this needs to be replaced, but now that the hatch has been fixed up, it should be fine. Tons of storage underneath here, and again, if you come onto the boat, you can look in all these areas for any corrosion, and there isn't any. They're the two bits for the bow, the railings up at the bow. I'll just show you this for a second. I'm just going to put the phone down. The anchor locker, which is a classic area for corrosion. is really good. There's no signs of corrosion in there. All the chain has been sitting on wood as opposed to on the metal. And up there is that winch that I was talking about. So that's a pretty damn new winch there that's just been sitting there and not in use. And you'll see that all the wiring for that is brand new. And there's the control box for it there, and there's foot pedals up on the roof. And you can see those are pristine and brand new. This is that metal aluminium there. That's where I did repairs to those stanchions. And you can see the yellow stuff on there is that corrosion lock. And there's the rubber between the aluminium and the two aluminiums as well. So there shouldn't be any more corrosion there, but obviously there was some damage before. So that's that. I will just go back into the galley area and I want to show you this corrosion that I am aware of. So this is the area that's the problem. So these were the old seats in here. And you know, there's no corrosion there, there's no corrosion there, but in here there is bad corrosion. None of it's gone through. But this is the area of concern, and this is kind of what's stopping me progressing any further with it. And you'll see there is some reasonably significant pitting, but it is very localized in these two tanks. So basically this tank and the one on the other side would have to be taken out. And my intention was you'd leave all the ribbing and then you'd replace the skin of the vessel on these areas, which are probably about 1.7 meters long by probably half a meter wide or thereabouts. This did have a lid on it, which I've cut off to uncover all this. I know about this when I bought the boat. There was just a hatch on here, which was hard to open. So when I got it up here, I cut it open and unfortunately found this corrosion. So that's the issue, totally upfront about it. That's what's here. There's no point trying to fix this. It's a case of replacing these panels. And it's the same on the other side as well. And that's it. That's the warts of the boat, really. Being 100% upfront with you in what I know about the boat. Like I said, I'm not a sailor. So there's lots of things I can't really answer. These are the ladders for the steps at the back. Now I do have all the floorboards. I do have the old seats that were here. My intention was to cut these out, redo the skin, and then just not have water tanks and just have bladders in there to stop so this corrosion isn't an issue in the future. Yeah, so that's where it's at. Let me know if you have any other questions. I would advise not putting these water tanks back in. If you do remove them, I would cut them out, and then not put them back in the way that they are now. This is something they were doing for a while, apparently, where they were putting the water tanks straight up against the hull of the boat, and you get this corrosion issue. But the positive thing is that it's not widespread electrolysis on the boat, and you can come and have a look around, and the rest of the boat is really not showing signs of electrolysis, which is good. So there you go. That's it. Any questions, let me know.